If you're 55 or older and you've been working, saving, and planning for retirement, you've probably seen headlines or articles telling you that you need at least $1 million to retire comfortably. It's a big number and one that sticks out in our minds. But here's the truth. $1 million has become an arbitrary retirement milestone. Why? Because financial media often repeats it, but rarely explains what that number actually means for you, your lifestyle, or your timeline. Today, we're going to unpack this myth and walk you through exactly what $1 million really does and doesn't mean for your retirement. We'll talk about what changes when you reach that milestone, why it matters more when you hit the $1 million mark than simply hitting it, and how you can build a plan that works for you even if you started late. Let's dive in. So, why has $1 million become an arbitrary retirement target? What are we discussing here? We're talking about the cultural fixation on the $1 million retirement number. Now, why does that matter? Because many people hit that number and they either feel overconfident or underwhelmed. And that's because they don't feel clear on what it does for them. $1 million isn't a magic number. It's not a ticket to retirement. It's simply a milestone. And it only matters in the context of your retirement income needs. Speaking of your retirement income needs, if you haven't had the chance to request a custom video that discusses your personal retirement situation from one of the partners here, click on the first link in the description and do that now. I want to reference an article published by the financial website Empower that points out that many of us grow up thinking of $1 million as this life-changing amount of money. But in retirement planning, it's not the number itself, it's what that number can produce. How do you move forward from this? Well, you need to stop focusing on the total and start focusing on what that number can generate for you. For example, depending on how your money is invested and withdrawn, $1 million might generate about $40,000 a year in retirement income. Could be more, could be less, depending on a number of factors. But let's say you need $80,000 net income to live the lifestyle that you want in retirement, and Social Security is projected to cover about $30,000 per year. That math can potentially work for you. But if you're assuming $1 million means endless freedom without having any sort of a framework or a plan, you could come up short very quickly. And that leads us to discussing what makes $1 million inadequate for many retirement scenarios. Let's examine what could make $1 million not enough. Why does this matter? Well, because many people delay retirement thinking that they'll need $2 million or more, when in reality, they just haven't defined what $1 million can do for them. For example, if you plan to travel extensively throughout retirement, that could easily add $20,000 to $30,000 a year to your budget. Or if you retired before Medicare eligibility at 65, private health insurance premiums could easily cost you between $12,000 to $18,000 a year. Looking at Massachusetts alone, a single 55-year-old non-smoking male with the lowest premium plan is over $743 a month. That's over $8,900 a year just for coverage. Not to mention you have $150 co-pays for specialist visits, and that doesn't include dental, vision, or prescription coverage. So even if you have $1 million saved, if you're spending $90,000 a year and your portfolio can only support $40,000 a year, there's going to be a drawdown gap. So how do you address this? Now, the answer is not to panic and chase another $1 million. It's to understand your actual retirement income needs and then work backwards from there. What's covered by Social Security? Do you have a pension? Will you have any part-time income? What is the real gap that your portfolio needs to fill? Only then can you really know if $1 million is enough for you. And again, that's something that we help you with through our personalized 365 retirement plan assessment videos. Click on the first link in the description to answer a few questions and have one of the partners here respond with a unique video that will discuss your actual situation. So now, why does the timing of reaching $1 million matter more than the milestone itself? And why is that important? Because hitting $1 million at 45 means something different than hitting it at age 65. And let's break that down. Let's say you reach $1 million at 45 and leave it invested. It could grow to $2 million or more by the age 65, even with modest returns. But that's the power of compound interest. But if you don't hit the $1 million until age 65, you've missed those compounding years, and you have to rely much more on your contribution rate and spending discipline. Late accumulation leads to higher savings requirements in your 50s and 60s, missed compounding opportunity, and more pressure to work longer. But how do you address that, right? If you're behind, it's not about shame, it's about strategy. Don't think of it as you have to work longer. Working with the right wealth retirement specialist can help you catch up on your portfolio income needs by addressing things like tax efficient saving strategies, Roth conversions, investment allocations that are designed to balance growth and protection. And most importantly, your financial advisor should help you define what you actually need your portfolio to do, because that tells us whether your timeline is realistic or could maybe even be moved up. Now, let's explore the factors that determine whether a $1 million portfolio is sufficient. And why do we want to cover this? Because no number, whether it's 500K, a million, 2 million, it means nothing without the right context. Let's take a look at a few key factors. Number one, retirement lifestyle. If your yearly salary was $100,000 before retirement, you might need around $80,000 a year in retirement to continue your lifestyle. Remember, you were paying income taxes on that 100K a year salary. But if you want to travel, maintain 2 homes, or help out your adult children, your needs are going to easily exceed that, right? Number two, healthcare costs. The Empower article reminds us that a healthy 65-year-old couple could see healthcare costs rise by nearly 6% annually. That means that what costs $10,000 today could cost $18,000 to $20,000 just a decade later, so 10 years from now. And we already discussed what early retirement health care costs look like, which can also expect to rise year over year. Number three, inflation. We've recently seen inflation spike higher than at any time in the last 40 years, but even at a mild 3%, inflation can erode the purchasing power of your retirement savings by half over the course of 25 years. So, how do you address this? You need a retirement plan that accounts for these risks: lifestyle risk, longevity risk, healthcare risk, and inflation risk. And you need to test your retirement income plan under different market conditions so you can adjust before you run into those surprises. The unique challenges faced by those who start saving late, often in their 40s or 50s, is important to consider right now, because this group often reaches $1 million but will still feel financially anxious. And here's the math on that. Let's say you save $10,000 a year from age 25 to 45. With a 7% average return, you'd have around $450,000 at age 45. And let's say you don't save any more past that age. But if you start at 45 and save $20,000 a year until you're 65, you'd only have about $850,000. Why? Because time is more powerful than contribution size. Compound interest needs decades, not years, to work its magic. And psychologically, late savers often feel like they have to work longer just in case, stay overly conservative with their investments, and make reactive decisions based on fear, not facts. So if you're a late contribution person, how do you overcome this? First, understand your true retirement income gap. Second, look at every income stream. Again, Social Security, part-time work, pensions, rental income, etc. Third, get serious about tax efficiency, investment growth, and what your withdrawal strategy is going to be. Good financial advice in today's world is critical. Finding a retirement planning professional who can assess your actual situation and create a retirement strategy that can adjust with your needs and lifestyle as it changes is very important. Which brings us to the final section, the retirement optimization framework. And what are we going to discuss here? So this is a complete approach to optimize your retirement no matter when you started saving. And why is this important? Because if you're over the age of 55 and you're hoping to retire in the next 5 years, you don't have time for generic advice or guesswork. You need a framework that includes income diversification. How much can you rely on Social Security? Do you have part-time income options? Will your Social Security be reduced because of other income sources? Tax strategies. Is a Roth conversion right for you? How are you making your withdrawals in the most tax-efficient manner? A sustainable withdrawal planning. Do you know what your safe withdrawal rate is based on your portfolio? Investment alignment. Are you still positioned for growth and protection? Do you understand the difference between personal risk tolerance and your portfolio's risk capacity? And scenario testing. Have you run your plan against potential inflation, market volatility, and healthcare spikes? How do you then take all of that and put it into action? This is where working with a professional can change everything. Again, at our firm, we use a process called the 365 retirement plan, which helps people like you analyze your income needs, understand your portfolio income needs, stress test your plan, and build a retirement framework that adapts with your lifestyle. So if you're over the age of 55 and you've saved $500,000 or more, and you're asking, do I have enough to retire? The answer doesn't lie in a number alone. It lies in understanding what that number can do. And now that you understand why continuing to save aggressively after reaching $1 million often signals that you may have started your retirement journey too late, you can use this information to optimize your retirement plan. If you want a personalized guidance on whether your current savings are truly on track, click the link in the description and fill out the questionnaire. We'll send you a custom video analyzing your retirement readiness and show you how to optimize your approach based on your unique situation. Until next time, take care.